doesn't record. Wait, that's not what that is. No, that's the picture button. Okay, well, we'll just do it this way.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and create a new application setup tool. Just look.
Camera?
Left column, fourth one down.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh, not that one. I take that back. Vision process tool. Left column, third one down.
Third one down.
And then we'll create a new one.
Okay, I'm going to be recording here, so. Okay, so anyhow, we are in the vision process system, so we need a new one, correct?
Yep.
And
So 2D single vision process.
Still the same?
Yep.
Okay, so then we just simply give a name, so
Frank Eagle.
I'm going to put FLD, that's my classic, and I'll put Eagle. There you go.
Cool. So after naming it, we'll go ahead and open it. And I'm kind of narrating just so that we capture it for the video as well.
Open.
Okay, so in the far top right, you can see GPM locator tool 1.
Yeah.
So you go ahead and first we need to set up the
Camera?
the main setup. So we need to point to the camera. So
Nice, I thought.
up level, and we need to select
and
our
then we're
camera.
going to go with camera. We're going with yours, right?
I usually use CMCS.
Demo? Oh, what was
No.
yours? I thought you had your own loaded in here.
Yeah, I'm not seeing.
I'm not seeing it. I see Gerlich. I see Frank 1. And there's no further choices.
Just use demo program calibration.
CM demo?
No, demo
Oh, I see.
program calibration. That one's pretty tuned in.
Program down. Okay.
The exposure's a little high, but
Oh, there you go. No, that's actually pretty good.
33 is a little high, I find.
On the speed.
33 milliseconds.
Yeah, I thought we
yeah.
dropped down to 16 or something. Or 6.
6. So I would drop it down to like 10 and see where we're at.
Okay. So that's 10 milliseconds of time,
Mhm.
and then after
That looks pretty good.
that, okay.
We're kind of getting some contrast there and stuff.
Yeah.
So let me straighten it out.
I was going to say, the funny part is, notice how the edge were off angle in reference to the puzzle.
Well, the puzzle is assembled off angle.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, see the edge?
Oh, that edge is on. That edge is present.
Oh, it is actually.
The
Okay,
sticker
never mind.
placement's off.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so in the top left, you see the little red computer?
Yep. That's
So
right.
we'll click on that and that'll re-snap a picture. That looks a lot better.
Okay. Now you're deliberately orienting it vertical and horizontally here.
Correct.
Is that for a reason, or would it be able to handle it otherwise?
It would be able to handle it otherwise,
Uh-huh.
but for the sake of our setup here, we're wanting to make sure that the robot picks it in the right orientation. And so it's easier to set the orientation here than it is to set it in the program
Okay.
level.
Should the gap here in the lower pair be a little more
It doesn't
increased?
really matter.
Okay, so we'll see if it's clear enough then.
Yep.
All right, so that should be there. Don't we need to adjust?
Everything in here is fine.
All right.
Oh, wait, number defined,
Number.
about 3 lines lower than your mouse. Up.
Yeah. Okay, there it is.
Change that to 4.
Okay, so that's it truly is indicative of particles or of shapes in this
Yep.
case. Okay, good. So now we go to GPM
Yep.
locator, right?
So we'll go into GPM locator. And so we're going to teach a pattern.
Okay.
And so highlight the whole eagle.
All right. I think we're recording. Fine with that. So, how much fringe or black should I pick up?
It doesn't
the
matter.
shape?
It'll
Okay.
figure it out.
Okay. Then hit OK.
Yep.
Okay.
So you can see that it kind of looks at everything.
Right. I can see the 4 separations. Now that we had, but it's more than that. It's actually picking up the outlining of the eagle as well.
Yeah.
Here, but it did not do it on that one.
So let's tell it to. So let's add a training mask first. So it's the 4th button down on the right hand side. Edit trim mask.
Oh, okay.
So now we need to tell it to omit everything in the So this is kind of a draw tool,
Okay.
and I find it kind of silly the way they designed it. So because it's a web interface and all that stuff. So in the left there, you have a pencil right now.
Yep.
If on the
Notice.
left side is your toolkit.
Okay. Right here.
Yep. So if you grab, I usually use the square tool or the circle tool.
Okay. I think circle might be a better choice. So we go right here. Oops. Okay. Origin starts from where you touch it and goes
Yeah.
up and to your left.
So actually, origin centered is what I found.
Can you escape it?
No, it really doesn't play nice with this.
I guess not.
So I think in the bottom left is an undo.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes. Very good.
So I would use the square, and let's just trace out the
Which part?
bottom.
Go this
So
way?
yeah, top
So-
right corner to
So basically, you start from the lower half the way this has been playing.
yeah.
So we're gonna go here and up to there.
Well, okay. So let's think about this. Do we want to start with the E as our first primary letter, or do we want to? What do you want to start with?
It's as good of a start. as any.
Because this tool actually ignores that area. It doesn't take that area into account when it captures the image.
Interesting.
So this is like, if you're looking at the whole product,
Mm-hmm.
it omits this section.
Oh, that's not bad.
Well, but it's advantageous too,
Okay.
because like, well, I'll kind of show you what I'm thinking here. So my thought was if we capture, because it's not going to understand if the equal is broken up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I was thinking is if we kind of capture it like this, do that guy there, grab the pencil tool and kind of. Indiscriminately just kind of doodle.
Right.
And so you can see this kind of pink shadowing here.
That's what it doesn't pay attention to.
Correct. So you can see now that it's really focusing on this E.
Right.
So this next tool here on the right, so the fifth button down
Emphasis
is the
area.
emphasis area.
Right.
And so if we edit the emphasis area, you know how you were talking about how it doesn't recognize the E?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's tell it that we need it to recognize the E.
Too small.
Too small. So, let's see if it'll like that. Well,
Can you go into the red area when you do the capture?
mhm.
So that's probably a better option. It's just there we go.
Yeah, it doesn't like it because there's so much red. We'll see what it does.
Okay.
And then let's change the model origin so that way we're picking in the center.
Okay. Where's that?
Cancel. So model origin bias.
Right. But it only has option of set.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't look like a very.
So we need to set the origin.
Okay.
And so you can see that it starts
Mhm.
in the center, so we'll change it to over here.
Okay.
And so that's where it will go to pick up this E now.
Okay. And that actually dictates exactly where the end effector is physically in contact with.
Correct.
Okay, so consequently, if you have a suction cup, it doesn't do you any good to be off to one corner because then the suction cup's not going to draw enough air out of the spot to lift up the item.
Exactly. So,
And also set as number one.
yep.
Okay.
So that's currently the count.
Okay.
But we also have a model ID here.
So that should be to 4.
Well, yeah, so we'll do 4 of them total. So I'm going to duplicate our first GPM locator tool here. So if you highlight the tool and it should go green,
Okay.
there's this double file and
Okay.
that's copy.
Sure.
So we'll just call it GPM locator tool 2.
Right. And then we're going to do the same thing for the other 3, correct?
So your pattern's already taught. So all you need to do is edit your trim mask, edit your trim mask. And
Okay.
so in the bottom left there is X. That'll reset it.
Unmask.
And then
Go
now
for
let's
it.
capture the W. So
Okay.
if
So
you
this
use,
one here.
yeah.
And yeah, it's already in square mode. So I guess.
Oh, other way around. We want the inverse of that, right?
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So
That's what I'm doing.
yeah,
Need to get rid
that's
of him.
close enough.
Okay.
So hit OK. So now we need to set the origin. So you can see that crosshair, you'll drag that over, oh. Yeah, there you go.
And obviously a sweet spot.
Yep.
Okay.
And hit OK. Every time you go into a tool, you need to hit OK.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate it again, correct?
Yeah.
And it's
Number
3.
three.
Sounds good.
So real quick though, let's go into GPM locator tool,
Okay.
and let's change the model ID.
Okay.
So it's the first editable line of the right column
Right there?
inside of the GPM match tool. So first, so
Edit, trim
down,
this.
down,
Edit EA.
2 more. See where it says model ID on the left? Right there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So let's change that to 2.
Okay. And then that's save, correct?
And press enter. I always press enter after I hit do a change.
And save.
Yep.
So in that case, I have to presume we go to number 3.
Yep.
Same concept.
Exactly. And so this is giving us the ability to tell the robot, you know, you're looking for 4 items, but there's 4 different models of product that you're looking for.
That makes sense.
So we need to edit the trim mask again.
Okay. So, efficiency-wise, I guess it doesn't really matter, either one. So I'm going to go ahead and identify for the head of the eagle, I guess.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, you got to start inside the frame.
oh, okay. Good point, since that was not big items. Oh,
Yeah, if you click in the blue area, it kind of complains a little bit.
There we go, I like that. Probably should be safe there, right?
Let's grab the pencil tool and kind of doodle that out.
Okay.
So that's your line thickness, and you need to click the pencil tool, just the top one.
Yes, I see. Jeez.
And like many things, you know, drawing with it is awful.
The mouse is not a good. Okay, well that definitely is not part of the image anymore.
Yep. So
Oh, here we go. We got a little sitting there.
cool. And we may need to edit number 2, but this is good enough for now. So go ahead and hit OK. And we need to change the origin. So that's
Set origin. There we go.
yep. Go ahead and hit OK.
Okay.
Cool.
And then you said number 2 needs to be reset on its, or clarified on the.
Yeah. So we need to edit the trim mask on number 2.
Okay.
We got a little sloppy. You're still in the pencil tool.
Yep, I am. And right the same thickness. So. That's where we need one of those Waco.
Oh, one of the Wacons. They actually make a gorgeous Windows tablet. That, to me, looks better than the Microsoft Surface. And the neat thing about it is that you can actually use it as both a Windows machine and then treat it as a Cintiq monitor as well.
Oh, never heard of that before.
Yeah.
Okay, so that should be proper there, save. And then last
We
one.
need to create that 4th one for the eagle tail.
Okay.
So let's make sure our model is correct.
Trim mask.
3 more lines. Oh, yep, that works too. So go ahead and blow it all out.
Let's go with that. I know, I start off.
Change it to the thicker one.
Just trying to avoid diving into the actual
Yeah.
puzzle piece. Reminds me of a very primitive paint program.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. That looks good.
Yeah.
And we need
So-
to hit OK first.
Oh, I just did it there.
No. See how it's still flashing in the top of
Okay.
the screen there?
Right. Set origin. I'm just trying to get too quick.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
So change the model ID really quick. It's the first line in the editable settings.
There it is. Yeah.
Now we're in number 4. Go ahead and press enter. Hit save.
Okay, so I guess the key thing, do a quick glance back through the parts, make sure that all the stuff is done right. Origins. Number two. I noticed it doesn't show as a number 2 here.
Hit snap and find, which is in the bottom center of the screen.
Ah, there it is. It still shows as number 1.
Right. So for that individual location
Concept,
tool,
it's number 1.
it's number 1.
Okay. I thought maybe it would actually shift to like pattern number 1, 2, 3, 4.
When you're at this layer of the tree,
Mhm.
or this level of the program,
Mhm.
it sees them as individuals. When we go up the hierarchy into the single vision process tool,
Then it prioritizes it?
yep.
Okay. All right, and let's see, number 3. 3 down here, model ID. Okay, and then number 4. Snap find, curiosity.
So real quick thing to note, in the bottom there, in the bottom right column,
Oh, bottom
it
right.
says degrees of freedom. So
That's right.
this is orientation, scale, and aspect ratio.
So we
So
need-
our scale and aspect ratio should never change,
Okay.
because we have a fixed camera and we have a fixed size part.
But what happens if, in the case of randomization, where, let's say you use the air ram, whatever, you might
because-
end up with a stack effect?
Well, we can't.
Which case
we
your
can't
aspect ratio-
stack.
Okay, it won't make it underneath it yet.
It won't make it underneath
The
the
control.
catch.
Okay, so we have to proceed, that's the only option then.
Yep.
So, so basically no scale and no aspect ratio on this, okay.
Like if you were moving the part in the Z direction,
Mhm.
or if you had some orientation thing like that.
You would definitely have a scale aspect.
Yeah. Or if you
Or
were
aspect.
expecting the parts to tilt.
Okay, yeah.
Uh,
Like if it laid upon another tile.
Yeah. So if they were angled and stacking weird, you
Right.
could compensate for that.
Okay.
Cool.
So let's close up.
So let's go to the higher level of the program.
Okay, so 1 up.
Yep. So now click snap and find.
So this should identify the 3.
Yep.
Interesting. It shows the number 2 that we built as number 4.
Mm-hmm. So-
Actually, number 2 is down here in the lower right-hand side, which might not be visible. So it's actually 1, 2, 3, and then 4 over there.
So if you follow the right side here down, so your first thing is your camera that you've picked, top right. So your camera,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have what camera we're using, the exposure mode, the number of exposures,
Mm-hmm.
and then multiple locator find models. So find best. So if you
Yeah.
open that, it
Find
finds
first.
first. So I usually leave it as find first because the goal of this with a moving belt is to find it as soon as possible.
Okay.
The offset mode we leave as a fixed frame offset. It doesn't really need to be messed with.
Okay.
Image logging mode, we need to turn off logged failed images because we don't want to fail or fill up the memory. So turn on don't log.
Okay. Parent command
And
tool
then,
will sort by.
so this is the sort by parent command tool. So if you open that up, you have the vision process level and then you have the parent command tool level.
Okay, what's
So
the
click
difference?
on vision process level. And then there's a drop down that opens up just below it.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see here, it's X position, it's Y position, it's rotation, it's minimum path angle, and then model ID.
Okay.
So if we hit model ID,
Then it should follow the numbers.
and now click snap and find.
Okay, so it's reverse order.
Right, but
But
we
I
set
mean-
it in descending.
Right.
So you can see right next to where we selected model ID, it says descending. So if you hit ascending
And snap and find.
and snap and find, it will order them appropriately.
Okay, that makes sense. Interesting.
Yeah.
So duplicate results if 20 pixels and less than 180 degrees.
So
now we are going to be dealing with this potentially randomized as far as orientations, as far as rotational aspects.
So it's saying that it can't be plus or minus 360 degrees out of rotation.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously they can meet all the criteria. So, okay.
And so the next thing we need to do is we just need to hit set ref position. So if you keep scrolling down on this right column, there's a item called ref data, and I just hit set ref position.
Okay.
And so this makes sure that this tells the machine that the entire tool is top.
Okay. Save, obviously. So the key thing here, I guess, is number one is over here is X, Y, and then model ID is number one, like it says. It matches it with a square of 100, and it's showing the contrast ratio 121.5.
So we don't.
The fit error is only off by 0.05.
Yeah. So the important thing here is the score. So if we go into the GPM tools at all, so you can define your score threshold, your contrast threshold, your amount of overlap that you're allowed, and then right now it's generating the score threshold based on rotation and how well it sees that part.
Okay.
So you can manipulate that up and down appropriately so that, let's say you're having issues with parts that are kind of not all the same, but
somewhere
they're really close.
So you have to differentiate between the two parts, one way or the other.
Yeah.
So you can either increase your score threshold up or down to encompass a little bit better. But then if you had two parts that fell within the same percentage, let's say, so they're different, obviously, but they're both percentage-wise is.
Well, that's like what this does, right? So with these parts, they're really, really similar to each other. But remember when we were looking up here at the multiple locator tool? So when it does its memory scan, from my understanding, it does a horizontal scan. And so it looks for the first one in the top left corner and then proceeds down.
Okay.
So if we scan these two parts and it finds this one in the top left and this one in the bottom right, it will reach for this one
first, right?
But if you change the multiple locator find mode to find best, then using the score threshold, it will say, well, the top left one has a score of, let's say, 60, and the bottom right one has a score of 90. So it'll go for this one first.
Okay, now, again, the variance on these two is this distinctly is a darker wood. It has more of a pronounced grain. So if we've done our first tot on this one, it has a lighter grain, then that one has a better match for contrast ratio. You know, several different little details. So it'll see that detail difference.
Correct.
And view it. So unless it was a pure, you know, it'd be interesting to see if we had two pieces of white plastic that had exact print top, you know, where they match each other.
These are.
And see how closely.
The back of these squares were originally very close.
Okay.
So
that was. Did you play with that? Okay. Okay, so that pretty much is already saved. We've already got all 4 points.
Yep.
So what next? And I gather we're done with this.
Yep. So I'm gonna end the video here and